Beloved star, welcome, such a warm welcome to Immortal Starlight Pod episode 52. And this is our anniversary podcast, the first year of the Immortal Star Pod, the Elfin pod. So in this one, as I've shared in recent ones, what I would love to do is to read the chapter 10 of Silver Wheel, the Lost Teachings of the Deerskin Book, this beautiful book that I brought through many years ago now, and that still shines, written as a prophecy for the dawn, very much. It's an extraordinary thing because it was written ahead of my experience of the dawn, ahead of the experiential journey of our ascension, and now it's a reality that I walk and I live day to day. So in some ways, for me, this was a book as though my higher self and greater self called it in ahead of myself. And it makes more sense to me now than it ever did back in the time when I was bringing it through, which it did. But I would experience this split in my consciousness where then I was in a very, very different place and couldn't relate to or remember what I had brought through. And as we integrate the greater aspects of our consciousness, it can be a lot like that. And it doesn't mean that what you know in your greater self and what you connect to, that point of perception, is inauthentic or that you are failing in being that fully and truly when you go into parts of yourself, or that there are parts of yourself that then are oblivious to that seem to be in a different universe. Because we are in a time where we are reintegrating those higher, greater, expanded perspectives of who we truly are. We're in that reunification. And actually, the journey of ascension is a beautiful journey lived day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, where you bear witness to that extraordinary grace of integration and return, and the experience of those splits, those fragmentations in awareness dissolving away. And so I find it that this book and its exquisite wisdom now is so much more to the consciousness that I embody, that is flowing through me moment to moment. And yet still, as I read its pages, it brings me into a state of amazement. And yeah, really is a wonder to read it for these pods. So yeah, this one will be the 10th teaching, and I read this just before the solstice, 2023, the December 21st solstice. And in the last pod, I read chapter 9, which is about the place where, well, chapter 8 of the Silver is so much about letting go and coming into a place of our simplicity, of our pure essence. And then chapter 9 takes us into the realm of dwelling in the spaciousness of the mystery and of waiting for the next cycle of our essence to gift itself, to wait to receive true vision, true vision. And I believe that is exactly the point in the cycle that we're at this moment. And that is an extraordinary moment to embrace with grace. And this 10th teaching has a bearing on a quality of that vision, that it transcends all the patternings. When true vision arrives to us, the true calling, the next cycle of light that we are called to by our soul star, it's from a point of vision that truly does transcend this world. And it's not a strategy, a motivation that comes from the patterns of time and space, of linearity, of the goals, the motivations, and so forth that we might hold on this plane. It comes from a much deeper and vaster point of perception that exists in alignment with the greater reality, with all that is. And it's like a wind. That's the energy I'm feeling. It's like an energy of wind and light that moves through and repatterns everything. And it exists beyond what we might have judged as right or wrong, the best way forward, the most sensible way forward, what we thought we wanted or dreamt. and also what we might judge as right and wrong, have this is good, this is bad, that it really transcends true vision. The next true wave of what we are called to from the perspective of the soul star comes from a different level altogether. And once it comes, we know it. It simply carries us, such as its power. It can carry us through anything and sets in motion a great creational wave, and a wave of what we see from this perspective on this earth as miracles. And so it makes redundant a lot of that energy of trying to figure out the best way forward, trying to figure that out with our minds here. So to embrace this power, this is so much the energy of this 10th teaching, the fullness of the power of the point of angelic perspective within you. To embrace that, to not be afraid of that power, that immensity of the part of you that sees beyond, sees at a level that is literally beyond how we see here. And that is not a bypass. That is a deeper power that has the power to bring through untold good for all the realms. And so this is an embrace of an immense power. And this teaching really links to the memory, the ending of the Atlantean timeline, the last time, the ending of the age of Atlantis, when we held this level of power, when we were willing to embody this amount of power and knowing of the non-dual heart and mind of the angelic perspective within ourselves here. And we didn't give away this power to authorities, to those who might know better, to experts or whatever who know better, spiritual authorities. We trusted our direct source connection, our angelic and non-dual perspective and discernment from within the core of our own beings. And at the threshold of taking back that power again, many of the fears that have been generated by the ending of Atlantis and in the last age, the descent into density, the loss, are triggered. We get afraid, warning signals take off around us, and the control and power constructs that have been in place really seek to keep our energy. And it's a moment to stay deeply strong and true, and to pass over the threshold, the old tremors, if you like, the old earthquakes of Atlantis that ended that age, the tremors of fear that go off as warning signals, warning us not to take on this level of power, of our own discernment, of our angelic perspective, of true vision, of the fact that each one of us knows and is the most direct source connection unto and for ourselves, that we don't need someone else to fill that in for us. So I won't speak more. I'm going to teach the whole teaching before we even get to the words of this beautiful book. So I will read this now, and may this bring inspiration and blessing and benefit to you at whatever point you are, whenever you've stumbled across this pod, or if you're listening to it in real time for the Solstice Gateway. But helping you to set your sights, your vision on the depth and the full power of the true knowing for the next phase that you are entering into, what you are truly, truly called to trust yourself, to trust yourself. So the 10th teaching, this is the 10th teaching of the Deerskin Book. We must let go of all attachments to what we think of as good and bad, and allow the spontaneous arising of the new earth. It comes from a place beyond our conscious minds, from a wisdom so much deeper than our own. And yet, this wisdom arises spontaneously within us like a pair of wings sprouting from our backs. Here's the glyph of this chapter. If you're watching on the YouTube, I'm just sharing that page. Chapter 10. She comes from the furthest unknown nowhere star along the trail of lost moonlight, leading into the land. Many circles, many lifetimes meet here. The 10th teaching speaks of a wisdom beyond judgments of good and evil that arises spontaneously as an aspect of the new earth. It is time for us to fly on the silver wings of this non-dualistic wisdom. We have won once again our unique and angelic perspective. We are free to walk within the illumination of our angelic auras. These are our wings, this vast field of interconnected awareness. It is a radical sensitivity, heightened and powerful. We do not have to dim our awareness in order to be free of judgments. In fact, the more heightened and clear our sensitivity becomes, the more easily we can see the impersonal nature of phenomena, and the less likely we are to get caught into subjective, emotional reactions. We remember being thus illuminated in our Atlantean lifetimes. We remember this radiance, this clarity. It is an angelic and impersonal clarity that is also compassionate and warm. We stand in a vast field of purity through which perceptions travel. We see energies, we feel clearly the presence of that which is near us. Our psychic capacities are heightened. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy. We do not rely on our physical senses alone. We rely instead on a synesthetic dance of perception that includes our extraordinary faculties. We are engaging with the full range of our faculties. It is as though we are finally operating at our full capacity, restored to full working order. This is the light technology of ourselves, of our own human vehicles, becoming all that they are designed to be. This light technology, the radical sensitivity and wisdom of our angelic auras, is natural. It is being activated by the present cosmic conditions. We can participate in this if we so choose. In recent lifetimes, we have been trained to derive information concerning the nature of reality from external sources. We have been trained not to trust our own sensitivity, and always to seek the external validation of spiritual or secular authorities. We experience a kind of inversion whereby information, truth, comes from the outside, not from the inside. This is an inversion because truth can only actually be experienced from the inside, using the antennae of the angelic aura that is designed for this purpose. It is from this perspective that we can receive accurate information about our environment, moment to moment, as it unfolds. From this perspective, we can make appropriate responses. This is how we attune ourselves to the shared field of angelic intention, entering into a community of purpose, guided by the light. One of the forces we have come almost unanimous. Let me try that again. One of the forces we have come almost unanimously to distrust is our own power. We engage in spiritual practices to awaken ourselves, all the while resisting the very presence of the power and the memory we seek. There is a shutdown to a whole dimension of our spiritual capacities, which to a great degree limits our natural expression. I am referring to our capacity for our actual embodiment in blood and bone and breath of our spiritual nature. This is the legacy of our last earthly experience of such union, which was the age of Atlantis. We had access to a much greater field of consciousness at this time, as the reality of our world was not limited to third-dimensional experience. We incarnated our spiritual essences directly into our bodies, which created whole different fields of possibility from the ones we experience today. But harmony was not maintained, and spiritual frequencies were accessed in a manner that was destructive to the development of organic life at that time. This is as much to say that not all potentials were pursued and explored with love, which is the force that makes light technologies compatible with the formation of organic life. The heart was lost, and even those who had maintained a sense of service to divinity and all beings in their development of spiritual capacities and their exploration of reality were imprinted with a sense of the potential disastrousness inherent in such a way of being. This can lead to confusion when this level of awakening and memory is touched upon. There is a simultaneous sense of great potential, which has a tendency to pull back into distrust. We are attracted and repelled all at once. We also fear that our physical forms do not have the capacity to embody such high frequencies, which manifests as a sense of limitation or unworthiness, or a sense of righteous distrust. We would rather not go there. We would rather keep things clear and simple and maintain the paradigm and experience of reality with which we have become familiar. Again, I emphasize that some of this reaction may occur at the level of the unconscious, while consciously we seek spiritual development, evolution, and awakening. It may manifest as a sense that spiritual evolution is too dangerous and enticing. In fact, we feel that we want it too much. We are very suspicious. We fear that we are putting ourselves under a delusion of spiritual powers. We fear that we are being falsely enticed and that we shall lose the heart center of our purity, our innocence. All of this arises when we touch upon the Atlantean memory field, and for some reason we do touch upon it. It is arising at this time because the old capacities are restoring themselves as the veil between spirit and matter dissolves. There is now available the evolvement of light technologies, of communication with the stars, of access to a non-physical set of frequencies that link into life beyond this planet and to other solar systems. This returns to us across the veil of ages, preserved as esoteric knowledge here and there. More inherently, it is preserved in our own genetic memory banks and is resurfacing at this time. And as we are touched by these frequencies once more, we fear to lose touch with the earth and her organic life forms, and a loss or an overwriting of her native wisdom and communication systems. The Deerskin teachings and their symbols carry us beyond this rift, beyond this perceptual divide. They mark a moment in our evolution where balance is attained, where we have learned enough about the spectrum of dimensions and a surrender to divine love, that we can maintain a multi-dimensional integrity. The orchid does not fear to welcome its full and complex beauty. It does not fear losing its connection with the heart of the infinite as it becomes all that it is. We are ready to drop our judgment against ourselves, ready to release the safety valve we have placed upon the wholeness of our physical and spiritual natures. Our awareness of the earth, of her ancient wisdoms, of the stars and their technologies of light. I'll start that sentence again. Our awareness of the earth, of her ancient wisdom, and of the stars and their technologies of light shall transform one another. There is a marriage at a new level of evolvement. As I have said, the earth is dreaming herself differently as the light of the stars touches her at this time. We are drawn into a dance that transfigures the very light that arrives. We cannot afford to be prejudiced or afraid of one dimension or the other. Those who fear the earth, who project their darkness and their suffering, their separation upon her, who see her as inherently separate from spirit, they too must look to the heart of their fear, their aversion, and surrender it. It is not the hour to escape our bodies into the starlight. It is not the hour to end our affinity with this earth, our devotion to her unfoldment. She is a great and wise mother soul. She is the stardust from which our bodies are woven. Our interdimensional transformation comes from within this continuum of sensory, earthly experience. We do not have to retreat from nature into the light, because nature herself is the dream of the light. And this earth dreaming herself is our illumination. There is a recognition of the wisdom of our ancestors, those we call native and indigenous, who over the last cycle have developed in harmony and interwoven awareness with the energetic fields and consciousness of Earth and her organic life forms. This is the wisdom of an intuitive sensitivity and a participation with the realms of nature. This is the attunement of the deer to the forest, and her awareness of where the paths, the light trails are. It is a multi-dimensional and instinctual consciousness, the loss of which we have heavily suffered in this last age, this last stage of our modern era. We wish to be rewoven into the web of life. We wish to rediscover our participation. Atlantis exists as the lost continent, undiscovered yet unquenchable in the psychic memory of humanity. This is our own submerged yet emergent awareness of Earth's hidden cosmic geometries and our ongoing work with these realms. This is her golden grid, her own winged and angelic aura, layered feather upon feather of a global network that is becoming visible once more. These are our lost dimensions, our lost lands, lying beneath the oceans and the ice lying beneath our feet. In fact, their legacy is scattered everywhere throughout the continents of the earth. These are the amethyst paths, the shining architectures in whose construction we have been deeply involved. These teachings are written for those who have served the earth with lifetimes of dedication and exceptional love. As Atlantis emerges, we discover a record of our own activity. We discover the lost temples whose genealogy we still carry. As I have said, for many of us there is hesitation in accessing this strata of ourselves. This is because the civilizations of Atlantis ended in cataclysmic imbalance. They had moved out of resonance with the vibratory fields of Earth. The light dimensions with which they worked were no longer in alignment with the sacred ground of Earth. and had become destructive to organic life. Thus the creative cycle of Atlantis came to an end, and a whole new set of lessons concerning third-dimensional reality were entered upon. This is the cycle of learning, through which we have been traveling in this last era, learning how to maintain dimensional balance within ourselves, laying a foundation of integrity so that we can truly become multi-dimensional beings upon the earth, bearing witness to the precious layers of the earth's multi-dimensional essence. We are ready to access our full power, which now appears to us as miraculous. When we reclaim these gifts, we do not put ourselves or others in danger. We trust in the jewel of the heart, which beats at one with the earth and biological life and its evolvement. We have undergone a huge shift from the multidimensional light of Atlantis to the ages of darkness through which we have just walked. Yet, when we move beyond a dualistic perception of this shift, then we begin to glimpse the wisdom of the new earth, and we begin to earn our silver wings. There is a totality of exploration taking place, always in the heart of great mystery. We emulate great mystery in the embrace of this totality. Our angelic aura of radiant sensitivity offers us true perception, and through this perception, we see the amethyst pathways opening under our feet and guiding us on extraordinary journeys. We trust these pathways. We feel blessed and honored, and we know that it has taken the totality of all our exploration to arrive at this moment, for the silver wings of earth and self to be taking to flight once more. This is the realm of the miraculous, and it is by our compassionate non-judgment that the doors of this multi-layered world open up. Our non-judgment is a radical tool. The powers of our own spirit are divided as long as we see through a lens of good and evil, light and dark. We seek these simple resolutions of judgment in order to find certainty and safe ground, in order to shore up our vision of ourselves. Yet we pay such a high price for this comfort. We lose the truth. We lose our silver wings of extraordinary flight. We lose the dazzling brilliance of a reality that sears the heart with its beauty, its poignancy, its improbable, miraculous depths. When we let everything dwell just as it is, all the beauty and all the pain, then the silver wings of true wisdom expand and take flight. We discover that what was lost is not lost at all. It was here all the time. It was just that we could not see it. It is here, in the place where we are, this mystic and extraordinary earth, who has so many mysteries still to reveal to us, who is only just beginning to let us know who she is. It is here, in the place where we stand, a multi-dimensional and rainbow reality thrumming with its own magnificence. This is the story beyond the stories we have been dwelling in. It is the true love story of Earth that begins to appear to us in snatches of vision. Portals open up as we explore the land, as we respond to the subtle instructions that come. This is the new Earth arising amidst us, and every thread is dear and precious. Every thread is of ultimate significance in this beautiful tapestry. connecting as it does to every other part of a subtle existence that is birthing itself with quiet magnificence. This is the manifestation of the blueprint of the new earth taking place in the moment. This is how it occurs. This subtle tapestry of amethyst and silver, of gold, emerald, turquoise, copper, and crimson is appearing in our lives. It is appearing in our choices of livelihood, our relationships, our homes, our families, our wisdom, inspiration, and invention. Increasingly, it is this subtle tapestry that draws the focus of our attention. We are the golden dawn tending to the golden dawn. The starlight is altering ourselves and the earth into a new relationship. We allow this parallel reality to transpire. We do not give up on it. No matter how subtle its etheric dance, it is the living gift of great mystery, and other, more solid seeming realities are, in fact, crumbling. We will not find solid ground if we lean upon them. It is not their hour. They are fragile and deteriorating, and no matter how hidden this process is, it is happening. When we allow our radiant sensitivity to be activated, this is in fact easily apparent and increasingly impossible to mask. The masks are losing their power to convince and actually reveal vulnerability. That which is running on the old paradigm of competitive separation, of three-dimensional materialism, of fear rather than love, of an inanimate earth and a masterful humanity, this still has the power to cause great pain and suffering. It still has the power of destruction, of material accumulation and consumption. Yet, however compelling and tragic these realities, it is a shadow dance beside the emergent blueprint of love. We have been here before, yet truly everything is different. We are different. We come to this place again, this opportunity. The lost dimensions are opening portals of a great and evolved realm. It is not new, and yet everything is different. When we embrace the non-dual wisdom of ourselves and the non-dual wisdom of the new earth, then we can bear witness to the totality. The sacred earth lies broken all around us. The sacred places are desecrated and ignored, the forests destroyed, the rivers, springs, oceans, and atmosphere polluted, the animals retreating and vanishing. Yet, amidst this apparently broken landscape, the portals are opening. There is an awakening taking place. Remembrance is passing through us in giant waves. An ancient harmony sings out. An earth that shines, golden starred, her angelic aura throwing off its concealment and calling us into a sacred dance of cleansing. Through the desecration, through all that subsides and vanishes, there is this silver wheel of lights within us and around us, a beautiful legacy belonging to vast time cycles, offering itself to an apparently broken world. The contradictions in perception are enough to break the heart. We feel bewilderment. How can we hold all of this in our hearts? How can we bear witness to a moment of such disparate far reaches? Surely We must subscribe to one reality or the other. Is this an ending or a beginning? We remember the cataclysms of Atlantis, a whole continent lost and sunk, a whole civilization disappearing beneath the earth. We wonder, is this now another such? We see the evidence of an ending all around us. We see all that fades, becomes corrupt, and crumbles. We see the destruction and the rampant, vast destruction of entire subtle worlds of life and beauty. We see the war and the injustice, the cruelty and despair that seem to perpetuate themselves without cessation. The darkness has become such a dominant aspect of our world, it seems goodness is a rarity. It seems that the greed, the material aspiration will never be sated. There are those who will continue to take what they want at whatever cost, and it seems their endless desires will destroy our world. Nothing ever changes. It rolls on the same year after year, century after century. The power of good will never be strong enough to alter this. It is too powerful, too perpetual. The language of the golden dawn can seem a slender hope when we are overwhelmed by these realities. We feel once again the stirring of this divide within us, within our world of light and dark, good and evil. Let us hold all of this in our hearts. Let this time be an ending and a beginning. Let us have this courage, this magnificence. We bear witness to the totality. We reject nothing. We deny nothing. When we let the totality sweep our hearts, then we are held in the magnificence of great mystery, of all that is. Our ground is endless, infinite, all-encompassing. There is no fragility in this. This is not a place of slender and assailable hope. It is the ground of arising, the infinite golden dawn of endless worlds. And it is to this that the wings of our listening are given. We do not wish to be experiencing limits, and yet this is not the time for force. We must be gentle with ourselves. Illuminations rise and fall, and once a door has opened, we long to walk through it and never return to the place where we have already lingered so long. But we must trust the natural rhythms, the choreography of metamorphosis, as a wisdom beyond our conscious minds allows for all that is necessary and inevitable to happen. We might feel as though we have failed and fallen behind. It seems as if our bones sing only to the old song, and yet it is not so. Their frequency is altering. There is an expansion and a greater resonance with spirit. There is a deeper transparency, a translucency occurring throughout. You who are this very change already cannot think the place where you were. Compassion with the past is an elusive capacity, and periods of peaceful integration do not imply stasis. We allow spirit the wisdom to dance in appropriate rhythms. Neither, on the other hand, do we presume that the evolution of consciousness must take place slowly. We do not need to lay out a map of gradualness for ourselves. This would be a false limitation. The whole of our unfolding is given in any individual moment. When we surrender to what is happening here and now, we find the entirety. We do not compare today with tomorrow. We are not in an anxiety about our evolution, our progress, our development. Its entirety is gifted to us in this moment. When we take up the concept of our evolution in our hands, we can come unbound from our listening, from our breath. We inhabit the thought of our spiritual development as though it were a reality in its own right, sundered from all the rest. It becomes a preoccupation, an anxiety, an obsession. It becomes a source of pride, of ownership, an object with which we play. There is no need to berate ourselves for this. It is only that our separation, our pain, has taken hold of this concept. We need but to allow the pain, the feeling, to surface, and we discover that obsession was in fact a resistance to the very thing we have been obsessing about. What a crafty mask! But we need not be concerned. It is a phase in the alignment of our intentions, and as we continue to surrender our pain, our separation, our concepts, letting them arise and vanish, seeing them to their source also in great mystery, then this mask of spiritual obsession dissipates, and we align with true expression. Equally, the pressure we place on ourselves may begin to make us feel bored with the whole endeavor, wishing that it would end, that we could get to the end. This is the weariness of spiritual endeavor, and it can manifest as a feeling of, I am done with this world. It can manifest as the feeling that one is tired, so tired of all the constant effort, of doing the right thing and yet never reaching the goal. Can we be bothered even with this endless quest, this elusive, unfulfillable goal? This itself is a valuable sensation, though it masks its own illusion. It is our resistance that tires us. When we dwell in the breath, the listening, and immanence of that which truly is, there is no weariness, because we cease to be the one making the effort. When we cease to be this causal agent of an unfulfillable quest, then we cease in our weariness, we find rest. We are only tired when we are not listening, when we have ceased in this expressive, listening breath. We are already in the place we are longing to be. We are already at our destination. The deer, like the orchid, is not weary of her passage through the forest. Her sensitive antennae are woven through the living moment, its constellations of peace and immanence. There is unfolding, but it is perfection. Not the progression of one thing to another, but a river that flows, a path of light and shadow through the forest. It has advancement and perfection. It has the sounding of a prayer that manifests through the here and now. It is the winter solstice. I sit enfolded in the incredible warmth of the white bear cloak, beneath a night of clouds, in a land carved by snow. The snowflakes are falling all around me, drifting around my face, silent carriers of ancient moonlight. I am waiting for the sunrise, waiting in the winter wood. There is a mound here where the shining ones have dwelt. I am waiting for the gift of their dawn to begin all over again. The silvery wings of my listening are woven through the spectral branches, through the quartz rocks underlying the forest. I am listening to the sky, whose snow-laden clouds are passing, and behind whom dwells the song of the stars and somewhere the dawn. I am sitting cross-legged, shaking the moonstone rattle, ensconced in the white bear cloak. I wear the indigo robe with its sweeping hem of pearls and lapis. This is the longest night. The darkness wears on and on. I am wondering what this dawn shall bring. What golden dawn shall steal over the horizon? What illumination shall it bring? What star gifts are arising at this time? At last, with golden topaz footprints, the elder of the sun steps over the horizon. She is walking towards me, a figure clad in hues of gold. She is a dazzling brilliance. She wears a blue feather at her brow. Her hair is golden, and she comes bearing the radiance of the I Am Infinity. The call has been made, and she has answered. She has travelled from far realms to bring her teachings to earth. The ancient contract is awoken. I have fulfilled my listening. I have stood and listened to the beginning that arises, and I have asked the question, what will come? The dawn deserves this listening. The dawn deserves our utmost sensitivity. To not assume that we know the answer, but to listen with all our heart and soul to what comes from beyond. This is the emergence from the long night of stars and from the stillness of the snow. It is the time for ancient gifts to be awoken. It is time for a universal and natural spirituality to arise through all the elemental and human worlds of earth. Long alliances are recalled, affinities and aptitudes, spiritual development and practices that have long dwelt within us covered over in recent lifetimes. It is time to cultivate forgotten gifts. The elders are reclaiming the truth. They are reclaiming their naturalness and their wisdom, their remembrance of their own light trails through time and space. They are reclaiming the truth that this earth walk is a spiritual experience with a primarily spiritual intention and potential. They are not awaiting the arrival of a sun or a star from beyond. They are remembering that they are the summoners of the sun. They are the ones who call and dream this beginning into existence. It is both less visible and more magnificent than we have expected. We are making this call to the dawn within our own lives. The sun is transforming. Her transmission is altered. She is listening to us. She is receptive to the transformative power of earth. She steps into the worlds of earth to discover her own dream. The dawn elder, her high-browed, noble elven face, the shining pale bone structure, white temples, the blue feather at her brow. She walks barefoot in blue buckskin leggings with their tracery of stitched foliage. She walks towards me on the rays of the dawn. She is a high elven elder, one of the ancient goddesses. Her sacred task brings her to earth once more. She brings something else, an unforeseen element. This is a special light. I bring the shield of ancient dreams. In this, you see the reflection of your true identity. This is found not by looking into the past, but is clearly written within the depths of the present moment. Humanity is remembering themselves as vastly interconnected and interdependent emanations of spirit, with beautifully inscribed and unique spiritual destinies. There are many intergalactic souls from far stars of the universe amongst you now. You carry a great gift of cosmic innocence, and in this world to which you have come, there can arise feelings of vulnerability. You have a message to share, and yet in so many lifetimes you have been destroyed for speaking thus. Yet know this, the shield of ancient dreams represents a promise that the Atlanteans long made. They vowed that when the star souls once again incarnated on this planet, that they would protect them. They would protect them even as they spoke the ancient dream of peace. The miracle of this time is that this message can indeed be shared. A beautiful illustration of the Dawn Elder, sharing if you're watching on YouTube. Zara Gucci made these beautiful illustrations. Love her face. Know that this protection resides within you as the power of discernment. You will know, moment to moment, when to speak and when to be silent. You will know when there is receptive ground and when the way is closed. The impossible purity of the stars and their walk upon the golden earth can once again be shared. She offers forth the shield of ancient dreams, and I take it from her. My eyes fill with tears at its deep beauty, its deep promise. The star sapphires twinkle embedded in the gold. She turns from me and walks again into the dawn light, vanishing into radiance. This is the special light from the sun that activates the voice of the future, that makes our ancient purity burn into visibility once more. It is this, our longest night, that has stirred us to remembering. Within the shadows of this night, we have found our longing, our purity. In the winter forest, in the moonlight, in the snow, we have found our endurance, our patience, our strength. The veils of unknowing may have pressed upon us. We may have lost vision, yet we have found ourselves full of loyalty, courage, and devotion. We have never stopped sending forth the smoke of our prayers, the invocation to the dawn. Now is the hour of the dawn. Now it is here. Now the treasured illumination of truth arises within us once again. So beautiful, with shining, shining blessings. This pod, our anniversary pod, marking the first year of the Immortal Star Pod, and that has meant the full illumination and sharing of all of the chapters and the words of the Silver Wheel. And I shall take a break for a couple of weeks and begin again in the new year with our pod, the Immortal Star Pod, with our second year and our second wave, and move back into the liquid light transmissions for our ascension, bringing through guidance and that deep seership and seeing of what is an unfoldment in the beauty of the return of the new earth, all that is in creation, all that departs, walking with you in the light of this step by step. And with that, I'll be receiving, I'm going to properly take a couple of weeks off over the solstice, apart from in Elfin Aurora, where we'll have the solstice stargate. But to very deeply, I can feel it, and I'll share more. I'll give more of a personal share again with the New Year pods. But there is this, a transition point, a huge transition point, and I'm going to be in prayer these 2 weeks and deeply receiving that which I'm called to share for the coming wave. And I can really feel it, that I'm standing at a threshold of receiving those new cosmic instructions and the guidance of how I am to support and uplift and share here, as it is my whole heart's calling so to do, and to walk with you side by side this unfathomably beautiful dawn upon this earth at this time. Kiantara Thanara Yanate, heart to heart and star to star, sending the deepest blessing, Kayanara Thien, to your solstice passage, Ekian Arakian, Itharayan Atan Arathian Terekian. With so much love, and I shall see you soon. Farewell for now.